First time in 13 months, we're back here on the Community News Newspapers Network. I'm Mark Trowbridge with Grant Miller. Welcome to our new season of shows, a new vibe, a new feel. And we're calling it Mark of Distinction. Thank you to our friend Wayne Bracken for coming up with that name. We're going to give it a try out. Grant.
Hey, let's hear it for that new name. Give us
Great
a
to see
loud
you,
applause.
Grant.
Yay! Oh, I'm excited. Totally
Grant,
excited.
let me tell you, I haven't been here in the studio in over a year. And you've made almost no changes. It's just as dusty and moldy as it was 13 months ago. And all we've really done is change seats. You got these kind of cool media blocks here on the microphone, and you know, got a much bigger staff producing. You've got 5 different producers here working these shows.
We have Gerald, we have Lorenzo, who's going to be a Gator.
Yes, come this fall.
And by speaking about Gators, you're the former president of the Alumni Association.
Oh yeah, that was like a decade ago, a lifetime ago.
How many alumni were there when you were the?
About 330,000 alumni. There's a little bit more than that now.
Wait, and you email a message to all of them?
Well, somebody emailed it, but yes, we would send messaging, or if they were a member, they'd get our beautiful magazine, and you know, we just took care of our alumni. We did a great job, a lot like
what year did you
many
graduate?
of our peers. I graduated in 1990, 34 years ago.
Wow!
I graduated.
You're 52.
You were already pretty elderly by then.
I know. It's for sure.
Well, you're looking good.
I'm hanging in there.
Thanks for changing seats with me. We thought we'd try to mix it up. I want to thank everybody who's tuning in. I don't know if we can tell who that is, but
doesn't matter.
We're trying to create some excitement and anticipation about being back here live for the first time in more than a year.
You picked that seat because this seat shows every wrinkle. You don't have any wrinkles.
Well, part of that is when you have kind of a large head.
Oh, you don't think I have a large head?
Well, it's just maybe different shaped, sort of melonious.
And I'm wearing a cowboy hat out of respect to you. You're back on the horse.
I'm back in the saddle?
Back in the saddle.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey over the last year, and you have been a great friend and checked on me like so many wonderful people did during my illness. And
I'm the Mad Hatter now.
That's a cat in the hat.
I haven't got anything right yet, have I?
Well, you're not well read.
Not at all.
But that's fine. That's what makes us a great duo. Between the two of us, we have enough brain cells to get out of bed in the morning.
Barely.
Barely. So
let's what's happening in Dade County? A lot of great things.
My goodness. You know, you go away for a while. You spend 100 days in isolation after you have a bone marrow transplant, and things get a little wacky here in town.
So you're 100 days in the hospital, 100 days locked down at your home?
I was in the hospital about 30 days, so maybe a little bit less, and then I was home for another 60 or so.
Of the 30 days, were you allowed to walk around the hospital?
Yes, that was expected. So you would get chastised a little bit by the attending physician if you were not upright or moving around or, you know, physically trying to exert yourself. Then the physical therapist would come. Then the occupational therapist would come. I mean, when you spend that much time in a hospital, your body just kind of deteriorates around you. And there's nothing you can do except get up and move. So I'd have to put on a gown, gloves. I'd have to wear a mask, and I would walk around the floor as far as I could using a walker. And, you know, started with a half a lap, then a 3/4 of a lap, then 1 lap, then 2 laps, and then, you know, home.
Physical therapists, I understand. Occupation therapy, like what do they do?
Occupational therapists are helping you do things like, you know, put my socks on, get dressed, things I'm going to be able to do every single day, stuff that you are not able to do on your own.
I was just going to say, the worst thing is when you get socks and you love them, but they're too tight.
Yes,
but you
that's the
jam
story
them
of my life.
You jam them on your leg.
You should cut the toes off.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, nobody's going to see them in your shoes. Yeah. Or do like I've done. I've pretty much given up wearing socks since I got sick.
What do you wear, little sockies?
Or either a little socklet or nothing. And so, you know.
Didn't they ruin the shoes?
I would say it's done a number on some of my shoes, but I rotate them so much, and I don't sweat like I used to. For whatever reason, you know, it's 90 degrees today, but
all right, so
don't sweat
you're
like
an
I used to.
occupation physical therapy, 100 days, you go home, you're pretty locked down for a couple more months.
Yeah.
6 more months?
3 more months.
Working out of your house.
Working from home.
I have to hats off to your nephew.
Sure. My nephew moved in with me, Taylor.
And what's in her?
And made sure I was getting my medication, getting to all my appointments, because I was going to 3 or 4 appointments a week right at the beginning, getting blood work, getting treatment still. Even though I was home, I was very vulnerable. So.
And your dear friend Sarah
Artacona,
we don't hold it against
Yami Reyes, Denise Minikowski. I mean, they were all there making sure I was getting to appointments.
I haven't seen Denise at the gym
lifting me up. I think she hasn't seen you.
Oh, it's one of the reasons. All right, so you had your dear friends taking care of you. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful job. Taylor's wife, Diana, of course. I was staying in their home initially, and then once I got my stem cell transplant, I went home to my house. They made sure it was completely ready. The house was repainted, the entire interior.
Your house?
Yes, all the ducts clean, carpet, everything was done so that I wouldn't get any, sort of, airborne illness. The filters. It was incredible.
Daddy's your sister's?
My brother's
son,
youngest son.
Wow, how beautiful.
Lovely.
It's a struggle, and there they are. They're fighting with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest part is when you are physically unable to get out of bed, but you have 3 goals every day. 1, you've got to get up and get moving. 2, you got to take a shower every day because you don't want any type of bacteria on your skin or any way that you would maybe make yourself sick. And then you have to eat. And I really struggled in that space because everything upset my stomach. I was nauseous for weeks. And so it'd start with maybe a bowl of soup. There was a day that the only thing I could stomach was eating like strawberry jelly out of the jelly jar. That was all I could really stomach.
What kind of jelly?
And it gave me
strawberry jelly?
Strawberry.
Jam or regular jelly?
It was a jam. But I could eat that. It gave me enough sort of sugar and calories. But, and then I would graduate up to some soup. And then I was turned on to these wonderful protein shakes called Daily Harvest. And I still have one of those every single day with oat milk, a couple of scoops of protein to help me just continue to stay as balanced. I had lost by the time I had gotten diagnosed to when I got home just a little over 100 pounds. So at my lowest, I was 240
And what do you weigh
pounds.
now, 260?
About 270.
And how much did you weigh as a senior in high school?
Oh, goodness. I don't think I remember that. I was well over 300 pounds.
So you're almost at your
even when I started the chamber, I was over 450 pounds.
But you're almost back into your high school weight.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm maybe a little bit lighter.
Well, that's great.
I wear a size 40 in my waist now, where I had been wearing like 46, 48. At my heaviest, 56. So very big difference. So I don't sweat as much. I have more energy, and I can move better.
So you're
dance better.
13 months. Tell me your top 4 nurses.
Oh, goodness. Had so many wonderful folks. So probably in Dr. Citron's office, it would be Vanessa, who still sees me. Probably in MCI, the Miami Cancer Institute. Wonderful group there. Probably Katia, probably Kathy, and then maybe Alicia.
Okay.
All of them terrific.
Now you had,
and they had to do horrible things like help me bathe and get me to the toilet and, stuff when you can't physically lift yourself.
How many doctors? How many doctors you dealt with? Dozens?
Maybe a dozen, because you have your oncologist, you have your transplant oncologist. They're supported by, a team as well who are consulting on your case. Cardiology, nephrology, because I had some kidney issues when I first got diagnosed. Hematology, because I have a blood-borne cancer and myeloma. Several different hospitalists, as they call them. They're sort of the general doctors that are at the hospital with you, but all of them part of the Baptist family. Pulmonologist, to make sure that, you don't get any type of lung infection because you're prone so much in a bed, so they don't want you having any issue. Immunologist, doctor dealing with my blood sugars, probably everything except I don't think I saw a dermatologist. Sleep doctor.
But you always had good complexion too.
Well, it's better now. My color returned, and that was all, I think, a good thing in terms of knowing when you're feeling better. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that I want to feel like me again.
Well, you look
That's
great.
been a hard journey.
These shots. You told me that you went and got. How many shots did you have to get?
Well, in terms of chemotherapy, I had 25 rounds.
Okay, no, but after that, now you're getting your tetanus shot. You're going to get.
Yeah, I'm getting vaccinations.
How many vaccinations?
So I got 5 last Thursday.
What are they?
I got tetanus, meningitis, hepatitis, polio, and pneumonia.
That's the first round. What's the next?
First round. I don't really know that. 3 more months.
Wow.
But they go here, 3 here, 2 there, and they're intramuscular, so they're a very long needle.
Oh, they get deep down.
Thick gauge, and go in as deep as they can. So, you know, I didn't really have much of a reaction to the actual vaccine,
You have to take
but I had a
shots,
reaction to, you know, the actual shots. Like my arms, even right now, like when I do that.
Wait, do you have to do
sore.
COVID shots again if you want?
So the COVID, I have not been cleared to have a COVID shot. Flu shot, yes. So we'll do that when that comes back around. Pneumonia, yes. I won't do any live vaccines for another 6 months.
What's live? What's that mean?
Like your measles, mumps, rubella, MMR.
But you're going to get all those.
I will. 6 more months. I'll be able to tolerate that because I don't have an immune system. So.
All right. We're going to get back to you.
Yeah.
13 months ago.
Yeah.
It seems the chamber is this rock and roll seems like it's never been stronger.
Oh, that's very kind of you. But that's really our team.
Right. Well, I mean, that's
that
what
put everything together.
Your team just pulled up the bootstraps and just did it.
Yeah, I think everybody did their job and did other elements of work that, you know, maybe either I used to handle or, you know, needed to be attended to or, you know, held each other accountable. So, you know, I think, you know, some things aligned very nicely.
New members, a lot.
Yeah.
Correct? Your numbers are real good.
In 1 year, from June 1 through May 31st, we had 292 new members.
22 to 23.
23 into 24.
200.
June 1, May 31st. 292. That's significant. Yeah,
That's
going on 300 new members to the chamber.
Wow.
In a year.
That's crazy. The 6, give or take, 6 new members a week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as good at math as I used to be, but
52.
It's about 25 members a month.
Yeah, incredible.
Yep.
And everybody participated.
Yeah, I mean, obviously our sales team takes the lead with Jennifer and her volunteers that work with her in membership and the different committees. But, you know, our board stepped up. You know, Thad was finishing his time as chair. He brought
and where did he go to college?
Thad went to University of Florida.
And what position did he? And people don't believe me.
I think he was a cornerback.
Yeah, very good. And his brother played too, college.
I don't know that.
But I didn't.
Which brother?
One of them. One of them.
You're very helpful. One of them. I think there are 2, right?
And then Dad's still kicking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was he 100? No, he's not that old.
No, that's probably in his early.
No, his father.
Oh, Larry.
Larry's
like 96.
And Fab's dad, Larry Adams, is the oldest living University of Miami baseball player.
That's a pretty cool distinction.
Yes.
I think about what just happened like with D-Day and a lot of those gentlemen that went over that were 100, 102, 104 and got to celebrate 80 years of liberating the world. And what a trip to take at that age and be there and be honored for your bravery, be honored for saving our world.
Willard Shepard and one of our students interviewed a 105-year-old Jewish World War II veteran.
Nice.
In Broward County.
Yep.
And when he went into the bunker where Hitler was dead, he took some stationery, wrote a letter to his wife on Hitler's stationery.
On the Fuhrer's stationery.
Right. And
he mailed it to her?
I don't know if he mailed it.
Or he took it to her.
Took it to her.
I'll never forget that.
No. 105 years old. And when you watch the interview, you go, wow. Some of these men and women who fought that war, still alive, you tear up.
I mean, this will be the last milestone, obviously, because if you do something at 90 years, now you're talking about people who are 110, 12, 15. And while people are living longer, I don't think we're quite there at that frontier as of yet.
So, we're talking about you, but I want to talk about girls softball.
Yeah.
I know you're watching it.
I love softball.
It is,
I love women's sports. I love what is happening at the college level and how it is creating a love for sports at, all levels, especially for women. What people are tuning in to watch, they're watching with their daughters and their sons. I went to a soccer game up in D.C. a couple of weeks ago, the Washington Spirit. My good friend Kim Stone.
Oh, wait, you were there for your road
I was there
trip.
for our fly-in.
Right.
But we went a day early.
A chamber fly-in.
Yeah, my first flight in over a year. And it was very exciting to go somewhere. She is now the CEO of the Washington Spirit. She was with the Miami Heat for a long time. She was with the Golden State Warriors. She was with a number of organizations, but she's now their CEO and president.
Wow.
And so got to go and watch a game with the Washington Spirit. They were playing against a Los Angeles team. And, the fan base was incredible. But what was even more incredible was seeing all the moms and dads with their daughters and sons who are, 10, 12, maybe even younger. And they're so excited about this game.
Is it a big stadium, low stadium?
It's a good sized stadium. It's Audi Field. It's not the same size as a, NFL football stadium, but it's a good size. And it had rained all day, and people showed up, and man, were they excited.
The reason I bring up this softball because the field's shorter, so these girls, their arms got to be strong to throw these people out. And the reason I brought up our new famous basketball player Clark was not watching the NBA; she was watching the girls' softball.
Yeah, again, I think something women do maybe differently than men is, they really support one another. Especially those that are college athletes, maybe aspiring professional athletes, maybe retired professional athletes. I follow a number of these folks on, social media, and what's great about them is how much they elevate their peers and congratulate them. And
girls, women's
basketball, soccer, softball,
track and field. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, the NCAA's just wrapped up the outdoors 2 weeks ago. The Gators won the men's national title, but the women were runner-up. So a program wins it and is runner-up, and that just tells you what we're producing here in Florida in terms of track athletes.
I use the word freak, not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people are just freak in nature. They're just incredible athletes.
And how they know at such a young age that they're going to be so incredibly proficient. Yes, I understand that they have an aptitude and they practice like crazy, but that they know they're going to be a Caitlin Clark, that they know they're going to be a Trinity Rodman, that they know they're going to be, Keegan Rothrock, and, throw every game of a College World Series softball tournament. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Mind-boggling. Oh, let's talk about Clark. That's the hottest issue.
Yep.
She signed.
I mean, think about it. You finish the national title.
And you lost.
You lose, but you go again 2 years in a row. 2 or 3 days later, you're drafted number 1.
And she, by the way,
and then you're reporting to the Indiana Fever like 2 days after that.
She flew her whole team out for the draft day.
Nice.
Come on, that's just beautiful.
And the next thing you know, it's time to start.
No break.
There's no break. It's different like with the football draft is in April. So not only has the season ended for many of the players back in November, December, the draft is, 3 or 4 months away. So they're training, they're looking at what their stock is going to be, they're prepping, the draft happens, and then, they go to camps and OTAs, but they're not going to suit up for a preseason game until August.
Right.
I mean, totally different. So you got to really take your hats off to athletes who, show up like that. Or the folks that finished the track and field championships and now they have to get ready for the the Olympic trials. The swimming finished up its national title and now they're in Indianapolis this week, all qualifying for the Olympics.
So Caitlin Clark, it is such a hype. I'm excited. It's making me watch that women basketball. I'm watching it now. Before, because there's such hype on one person, but they're great athletes.
Yeah, I think it's fun to be a new fan about something, and then be able to talk about it or be passionate about it. In college, the landscape has changed significantly the last couple of years because of the NIL. And so with the transfer portal, in the beginning, it was all about football, basketball. But now, I see the player of the year at Stanford is looking to transfer from there and go to another program in softball. And you think to yourself, Stanford was in the World Series. Stanford won a couple games.
Yeah, but
what is it? What's going on?
The money.
Here?
There's not enough money.
And that's what it comes down to. And the landscape will change even more when schools are going to be required, to also compensate the athletes and try to figure that out. And that's not going to be an equal playing field potentially. So we'll see what happens.
I think there's so much
fun to watch.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to happen in our lifetime that you'd be compensating athletes. They've been calling for it for years, especially because those programs make a tremendous amount of money off of student athletes.
Yeah, I have to get back to Caitlin Clark. Reese is her name.
Angel Reese.
They have
a little rivalry going.
And
she played at LSU.
One of the former pros said, if you're going to be the bad guy, be the bad guy. Answer the media. This is why I'm the bad guy. And it's true. It's that Dennis Rodman was the bad guy, and there was so much attention to the Bulls because Dennis Rodman. So this Reese, she's a stud.
Yeah, I think people are unaccustomed to that in women's sports. And so,
do you love it?
What I said to other people was when Caitlin Clark commented on the foul that was upgraded to a flagrant foul after the game, she said, you know what? It was a basketball play. And that just tells me that you get it, but you're going to be ready the next time, and you may lay the wood yourself when the time comes. So I think it's just great that people are tuning in and competing. I think more people watched the women's championship than watched the men's. They may have watched some of the NBA playoffs. Sports is so important. We missed it so terribly during COVID. We really did. And it's taken us several years to, I think, not only appreciate that, but get back to a place where we're valuing it at the highest level. Right now the Men's College World Series is going on. You've got... Wait,
is it 1-1 now? FSU and who?
Well, FSU is 1-1, but I think they play today in an elimination game.
Right.
And then Florida plays Kentucky tonight in an elimination game.
What's crazy, FSU's baseball team, huge amount of juniors. These coach went and got JUCO kids. Kids that already...
They had a great year.
Incredible coaching, everything.
They played Florida 3 times, beat us double digits all 3 times.
Doesn't matter how good you are.
Well, and part of it was a lot of those kids had a ton of playing time.
Right.
And that really does signify, a more mature team. But you've taken a lot more ABs. And so, getting up there and trying to hit a guy throwing an at-bat.
Okay.
Trying to hit a 94, mile an hour, fastball. Those guys are throwing heat. Look at the guy that was last year's Golden Spikes winner. He's been pitching since the beginning for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Having a great season.
Who's the pro?
Paul Skeens.
Who's a pro that throws lefty and righty?
Who is it?
Yeah, what's his name?
At Florida?
No, in Major League Baseball. Oh, no, Mississippi State or Southern Miss.
Oh, I don't know.
Producer over there? Yes, sir. Check to see who throws lefty and righty.
We're doing a fact check. He throws left and right, or he bats?
No, throws left and right. He pitches from Mississippi State or Mississippi. Baseball player throws lefty and right.
College baseball player.
College baseball. All right, let's move on to the next thing while he's looking it up. He has a glove that can do both.
Get out. So he doesn't have to change gloves?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like that.
Wow.
So you're watching pro basketball.
Yeah, congratulations to the Celtics. I know that
our bettors.
The folks said our bettors were giving out free baked beans today in honor of Boston.
He throws both.
What's his name?
His name is Longfellow.
And what college? There it is.
Oh, he's only 19.
Yep. There, okay. And there's my hat right here. Wearing the Arbetter
He's an
hat.
MLB prospect, so he's going to skip college.
Yeah. All right. So next thing.
Yeah. So I stayed up last night. I watched the end of the Gator game. They beat and eliminated North Carolina State. Then switched over to basketball.
The Celtics.
Watched the Celtics win, and then tonight it'll be hockey. Gators and hockey. Gators play at 7.
You got 2 TVs, or just one you go back and forth?
I'll just go back and forth.
The Panthers.
Panthers looking to close it out. Always tough to.
Do they play here?
They are. They're going to play at the Amerant Arena.
You don't have tickets?
I do not have tickets.
My older son tried to get tickets to the Atlanta, the women's basketball. They were sold out within seconds.
Oh yeah. Were they playing the Indiana Fever?
Yeah,
Is that why?
I think it's this weekend. And the Atlanta has the #1 pick from last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the marketing now for women's basketball has changed completely.
Sure.
So, all right, what else is up?
I would love to see you meet some of these ladies and see you stand next to them.
So I thought Clark was short. She's 6 foot.
No, she's not short. There's nobody short.
I didn't know that.
No.
Who's the tall ones? And did somebody get kicked off the Olympic team?
Oh, I don't know. Was there already a scandal?
Can you see if anybody got kicked off the Olympic team?
We haven't even named most of our Olympians.
The women's.
So you're going to watch hockey tonight? First opportunity in 30-plus years to win a Stanley Cup.
Okay, name
for our Panthers.
Okay.
Very
I
exciting.
do not know the answer. Bill Daly, Miami Herald, told me there's a few cities, 8 cities to be exact, that's won all the championships: football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Major
League, 4 championship cities.
Yeah.
Okay. Miami has a chance. South Florida has a chance to be one of them.
But there's. See if anybody got kicked off the team. Nobody.
Yeah, apparently came in question.
No.
She did not get kicked off. She didn't get selected.
She didn't
for
get
the Olympic
selected.
Team. They did not take any rookies.
Right, and I don't blame them. But so there's 8 cities in the United States. Of course, New York, Chicago,
New York, Boston.
But there's some other cities that are unheard of.
I don't think I know them. L.A.
I don't know. Can you Google what's
the 8 cities that have won championships in hockey, football,
baseball, and
basketball. Well, we should throw soccer in there too. We might be that city.
I don't know. So I have to tell
LA probably is that because of the galaxy.
Well, we're going to find out if you could find it. But I'm going to tell you a beautiful story. I ran into J.C. Moss yesterday.
Oh.
And he's telling us...
One of the owners, investors in Inter Miami.
Wait, click that. There it is. Ah, there it is. Oh, no, that's just... Doesn't say all the major sports, but that's okay. Super Bowl, basketball. They don't have... We'll do that later. So he's telling me a story when his son got into Epiphany, that his son has some issues, and the teacher said, "Your son is in the best hands. Your son will be treated like he's my son." So they're talking more. Now she's a teacher, but when she was a kid, her family sometimes couldn't afford milk. And the milkman would leave milk for them even though they couldn't afford it.
Wow. Humanity.
And who was the milkman? Moscososa. That's what he first did when he came to the United States.
Wow. The father.
The father.
Wow.
He was just a milkman.
I love stories like that.
It was like when their kid came in, she says, "He's mine."
Oh,
yeah, it's a beautiful story. We're still trying to. He's got all different sports, but we'll get that one answer. All right. So what else is happening in Miami? What are you feeling good about Miami?
No, I love Miami. One of the things I've learned over the last year or so is that, even on its worst day, Miami has a magic to it. People have been so incredibly warm and kind, and whether it's a note, an email, a text, their outreach has been part of my, I think part of my recovery. You don't get to being in remission without great medical care, great insurance.
Who's your insurance
Florida
company?
Blue.
Florida Blue. How's her lady doing? How's she doing?
Are you talking about Martha? Are you talking about Penny?
Penny.
I haven't been in contact much with Penny, but I've talked to many people on her
Team.
former team, and they're wonderful. You know, Doug Bartell, of course, George Martinez. You know, I think one of the things that's really nice about Miami is that when people take a breath, take a moment, take a pause, and you think about the challenges of others, just like that story you told. You know, we all have, I think, a natural ability to be very, very kind, to be very loving. I wouldn't be sitting here without great medical care and support, but also just the mental health recovery. Because when people tell you you're sick, your first, you know, thoughts take you to a pretty dark place. And you have to get out of that place as quickly as possible because your recovery depends on it. And so whether, you know, getting some support from your friends, you know, what my nephew and his wife did, what my dear friends Sarah and Yami and Denise and others did, you know, hearing from you, you know, even if it would be a short conversation because I just didn't have the energy to even talk.
Or you didn't want to listen.
I always want to listen. You know, I appreciate that. Our mutual friend Gio, you know, dropping things off. Members of our chamber who stepped up, our staff,
Yeah, why don't we talk?
our board.
Let's talk about that.
You know,
So Gio
yeah.
got a book signed to you, personally
Yes.
signed.
She knows that I'm a huge Emmett Smith fan, and they go back a number of years to when she was in college and he was a young pro. And she got his book signed for me, which was a very sweet gesture. Delivered it. You delivered it to me while I was in my first convalescence before I had my transplant.
Right.
And it was very meaningful. And then she organized us to have a call. So I got to talk
Really?
with him. Yeah. It was a Zoom call. That was very nice. This is what I'm talking about, is that people sometimes just think of one or two extra little things. And they may not think it's meaningful, but I will never forget that.
Now, was Emmett nice?
Oh, he's very
Yeah, because I met him. And
We're the same age. We went to college the exact same time. He was a freshman when I was a freshman. He happened to be an all-star running back. I was just a sweaty kid living in my dorm.
No, you were RA.
I wasn't an RA yet, but yeah. But, you know, he was somebody that I got enamored with because I would watch him every Saturday. And, you know, we weren't so great back then, but, you know, we had a coach who relied on the running game.
Who was that?
Galen Hall.
Right. He coached pro for a while, didn't he?
He may have. I know he did like USFL or something like that. And he was at Penn State. I mean, Coach Hall, I mean, they just ran the ball. Kerwin Bell was our quarterback. He wasn't a super mobile guy.
No.
He didn't throw the ball a lot, but Emmett just ran like crazy. And I remember his breakout game was against University of Alabama. They were pretty good back then. This was 1986.
Let's talk about college football. Who's going to be in the top four?
Well, you don't have to care about that anymore. Now you look at the top 12.
Is it 12 or 8?
It's 12, I think. Because I think there's the top 4 get a bye, and then the other 8 split it out. And then, you know, play in the semis.
Will Alabama be in the big dance?
I think so.
Yeah, it's impressive.
You know, they have a new coach, but so do several other marquee programs. But I think they did what Alabama does, which is go and get, you know, the right coach for the right moment. There is there's a program pedigree there that doesn't just go away in a year.
Who, Florida? Oh.
Nor does it come back in a year. You know, it's taken Florida. You know, this will be our best year of Billy Napier's 3 years, but he also gets the toughest schedule of anybody in college football.
Correct.
The Gators have the toughest road ahead. So, you know, there are some people who think we could start 0-5. And then there are some who think, they could start 5-0. Those are completely different scenarios,
right? Both
for the longevity of a coach and also the motivation of a fan base and, you know, players. But I think, you know, Florida hopefully will be patient. It's a fun game to open up against an old rival like Miami.
Oh, it's a big.
But Miami's got to rebuild as well. They've got a new quarterback.
That's makes or breaks their season. Well, it's time. It's almost time, Mark.
I love it.
It's time. What time is it? You gotta go back to work, huh?
I've got to go do something. I do love flamingos.
I know. That's why I brought my flamingo hat out.
When I was in the hospital, Ron McGill gave me a beautiful gift
The
of
flamingos.
the picture that he took the morning after Andrew,
All in the bathroom.
where the flamingos were in the bathroom. They put them in the bathroom hoping they would survive the storm, and fearing the worst when they opened the door to that bathroom that they may not have survived, because it took them a day or two to get there.
Right.
They threw some hay down and food and hope for the best. Every one of them was alive, and he took a picture. And to me, it's my favorite picture because, one, I love flamingos, and two, it reminds you about resilience. It reminds you about hope, strength. They were together,
For days.
camaraderie.
For days.
And so he had that picture reprinted and gave it to me. It hangs in my office,
Wait,
and I love it.
It's not on the ground?
It's not. It's the only picture that's hanging in my office. Thank you, Louis, for hanging my photo.
One photo.
He'll come back and do more. He's a busy guy.
All right, we have to wrap it up because
I think we're over time. Did anybody want to say hi to us? I'd love to hear what people think about my hair.
Well, you're going to get comments in the next few days.
Oh, I will.
Yes.
So this is a new hairdo.
I love it.
My hair grew back. I lost my hair with chemo, and I didn't have a lot of hair to begin with. But
No.
when it came back kind of like this, like
It's
different
kinda
color, different texture.
Gerald, it's pretty sexy, right? His hair? Okay,
But
see?
I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to get it trimmed up a little bit tomorrow. Haven't really had it touched since it came back. It took a couple months for it to return, but
You hear what he said?
what should we
Lorenzo
do?
said, I'm jealous. Well, he did have a
I'm
nice
jealous of Lorenzo's hair because I wanted my hair to come back curly.
Okay, well, maybe it will.
But
Hey, speaking of,
maybe I'll
how's
get a
your mom?
perm.
How's your mom doing?
Mother Trowbridge is struggling. She's struggling with her mental, situation and her memory issues. And we've got her seeing a variety of different doctors. My sisters have stepped up and, are helping out. Obviously, this has been a difficult time for me and my recovery, but I talk to her several times a week, and, she has good days and bad days. She's 87, so it's
Spring
tough.
chicken.
It's tough for her, but we hope for the best. Once your memory starts to falter, it does not improve. So you have to sort of manage it. Make sure she has the appropriate attention.
And
that
your
she
sister
needs
lives
and
up
care.
there.
Yeah, my sister lives there. Yeah.
That's all that matters.
So, go Gators, Lorenzo.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Mark, you want to give a closing?
Yeah. So here we are back again after more than a year. Look forward to some of your feedback. Today was very much about catching up and free flow, but we're looking for ideas. This show is about distinction. How do we distinguish ourselves as leaders in this community? How do we distinguish ourselves as a chamber, as a community newspaper, as people who care about Miami, people care about you, but who are other people who are, people of distinction that we should be inviting in to talk with us? That's going to be a little bit of a different format. Maybe not every week, not every other week, but talking to voices that, really carry a lot of meaning into our days here. I have come face to face with kindness, and it is beautiful. And it's something that I hope all of us can continue to embrace and carry forward, because it makes a difference for Miami, it makes a difference for South Florida, and it just makes a difference. So, from Mark and Grant, thanks.